UFC 291 press conference was recently held in Essen, Germany. This event was an important one as it marked the first since the coronavirus pandemic began. Fighters from all over the world attended this press conference where an exciting slate of fights were announced. There were some exciting fights between top contenders as well as a few newcomers. The keynote speaker at this event was the president of the UFC, Dana White. He discussed the future of the UFC during this press conference and discussed how he plans to move forward. Several other important figures were in attendance, such as the CEO of the UFC, Lorenzo Fertitta, and many of the UFC's top fighters. It was an exciting event for MMA fans all over the world. During the press conference, Dana White also discussed the upcoming UFC 291 card. He revealed that the main event will be a title fight between featherweight champion Max Holloway and challenger Brian Ortega. This much-anticipated fight will be sure to please fans of the sport and should be an exciting one to watch. The co-main event will be a flyweight title fight between Henry Cejudo and Joseph Benavidez. The rest of the card will feature some great fights as well, such as a lightweight bout between Al Iaquinta and Paul Felder and a welterweight title fight between Tyrone Woodley and Leon Edwards. There is also a bantamweight title fight between Marlon Moraes and former 135-pound champion Cody Garbrandt. There are also several intriguing matchups on the undercard as well. There were also several other announcements made during the UFC 291 press conference. One of the most significant announcements was that the UFC will begin holding events in the United Arab Emirates in October. Additionally, Dana White mentioned that the UFC will be partnering with Paradigm Sports Management to develop greater opportunities for the fighters and the sport. The UFC will also be expanding into digital platforms as well. This will open up the sport to new viewers and fans, and should bring in more revenue for the company as well. All of these announcements are exciting, and should be great news for MMA fans around the world. The UFC 291 press conference was truly an historic one, and it should lead to great things for the sport in the future. Now the focus will shift to the upcoming fight cards, which are sure to be exciting and entertaining. Fans will be sure to follow the action as it unfolds, so stay tuned for more news on the UFC. With the UFC 291 press conference behind us, it is now time to focus on the upcoming fights. There are some great fights lined up, and it should be a great event for MMA fans all over the world. The main event should be a fantastic fight between two of the best featherweights in the UFC. It will be exciting to watch and see who comes out as the victor in this matchup. Each of the other fights on the card should be exciting as well. There are several big names competing, as well as some exciting newcomers. Those who attend the event are sure to be in for a treat. There is sure to be great entertainment, and the fighters involved are sure to put on a spectacular show. Additionally, this event is the first of its kind since the beginning of the pandemic, and so everyone in attendance will be able to get some much-needed relief from the stresses of the outside world. Fans who are unable to attend the event in person will be able to watch all of the action on pay-per-view. This should make for an action-packed night of fights. MMA fans all around the world should be excited for the UFC 291 press conference. This is an exciting event for the sport, and it should lead to great things in the future. The fights announced should be extremely entertaining, and fans should tune in from all over the world. This is sure to be an event that should not be missed. The fighters involved in the UFC 291 press conference have all worked hard to prepare for this event. It should be exciting to see them compete and show their skills. The UFC 291 press conference was a great success, and it showed that the sport is in good health. There are many great fighters in the UFC, and this event showed their skill and dedication to mixed martial arts. The press conference also showed that the UFC is heading in a great direction. The changes announced should have a positive impact on the sport as a whole. The UFC 291 press conference was a major event, and it stands to bring in even more fans of the sport. This is a great development for MMA fans around the world.